Budgeting out your expenses for the month can be a headache. There's rent, food, electricity bills, your video game addiction, and much, much more to worry about over the course of that 30 days. And it really starts to add up. But what if you were in the 1%? What if you were a multi-billionaire? What do your monthly expenses look like then? We can tell you this up front. With more money comes more problems and much more expenses. Today we are taking a look at the monthly expenses of a billionaire to see just how much they're spending. Hey, don't feel too bad for them. They can easily afford it. Let's start off by looking at what the cost of living in your mansion is when you crack the 10-figure club. Sure, this number can fluctuate depending on the size of the home, location, and all that stuff. But let's take a real-life example from a real estate mogul to give you an idea of what to expect. Jeff Green is an American real estate entrepreneur and is worth $5.1 billion at the time of writing this video. He also happens to have listed his Beverly Hills mansion for $129 million. Let's assume that you went ahead and bought this home and paid the 20% down payment up front. That would mean your mortgage is $103.2 million. Let's also pretend that there's a very standard 3.875% interest rate on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. Well, that means your monthly cost for this mega mansion is $485,285 per month. Yikes. And this number doesn't take into account maintenance, insurance, and your property tax. No wonder Jeff Green put this house on the market. In fact, he first listed it at $195 million, but no one was biting, so he lowered the price to the aforementioned $129 million. He was quoted as saying, "This house has been a terrible deal for me. We're into this thing for probably $80 million or $90 million at least. We'll be lucky if we get our money back after years of carrying costs." Another monthly expense you have to account for when you're in the 1% is your car. Sure, it may seem like you're living the dream once you buy that super sports car, when you're a huge success, that is. But we've got a reality check for you. There's much more to consider than that initial price tag. Elon Musk is the perfect example for this, as he splurged on a McLaren F1 after he sold PayPal. This was in 1999, and at the time, his shiny new ride cost him $1 million. But the buck doesn't stop there. Sports cars are temperamental machines. They need their tires changed frequently, usually every 2,500 miles, and costs for this can easily crack $33,000. When you factor in insurance, taxes, service, and anything else you may need to keep your car looking its best, expect that $150,000 of your hard-earned money will go straight into your car every year. That's $12,330 per month, folks. Yikes. But in Elon's case, he seems to have gotten over driving top-of-the-line sports cars, especially if they aren't a Tesla. This may be due to the fact that he crashed his McLaren F1, which he had been using daily. To quote Elon, "I had it for several years, and I put 11,000 miles on it, and I drove it from LA to San Francisco. I had it as a daily driver. Then we hit an embankment, which tossed the car into the air like a discus, and it kept rotating and slammed down on the ground. We're glad he's okay, but it's a shame about the car. After all, today, the McLaren F1 goes for $20.5 million at a Monterey auction." When you think the richest, you think yachts. Hey, there's a reason for that. Nothing screams, "I have money to burn," like a 450-foot super yacht. These things can easily go for $200 million and are loved by not only the billionaires of the world, but some of the biggest names in Hollywood. Case in point, David Geffen, worth approximately $10.6 billion at the time of writing this, and who is the creator of Geffen Records, happens to own a $590 million, 454-foot mega yacht that he has been isolating on over the past year. But make no mistake, it's costing him quite a pretty penny each month. Just fueling your boat can add up quickly, and you can expect to pay around $34,000 a month on gas alone. And if you want to dock your yacht, yeah, that's going to cost you too. Better be sure you have an extra $29,160 at the end of each month for that. And let's not forget the staff. These boats are huge. They can't be run by just you. Wages for a yacht's crew can get as high as $1.4 million annually, which means you're looking at $116,700 per month for keeping your crew on staff. Now do you see why yachts are only for the richest? Here's another expense that you probably didn't think of, but make no mistake, it's an absolute reality of being a billionaire. We're talking about throwing parties. Yes, as in entertaining, networking, impressing your ultra-rich buddies. It comes with the territory, folks. And if you need confirmation, just ask Stephen A. Schwartzman, CEO of the Blackstone Group. He's worth $32.4 billion at the time of writing this, and he reportedly spent $5 million on his 60th birthday. But that number pales in comparison to his 70th birthday, where he spent a reported $20 million. As you can see, the sky's the limit for parties when you got $1 billion in the bank. So for the purpose of our little thought experiment on the monthly cost of entertainment, let's pretend that the average billionaire throws 3 parties a year and spends $10 million per party. We can agree that's a pretty conservative number. That would come to $2,465,730 per month just on boogieing down with your buddies. Geez, it must be nice to be rich. Being in the public eye means you gotta stay fit and look healthy, which for many billionaires means a personal trainer. And when you're rich, you aren't working out at the local YMCA. Oh no, you have the best personal trainers in the world making sure you eat right, get in the reps, and do plenty of cardio. Arguably one of the most famous personal trainers is Fabrice, owner of Fabrice Le Physique. He is known to train billionaires, and his price, $1,340 an hour. Let's do the math then to see what your monthly cost would be for Fabrice to get you in shape. If you are working with Fabrice 1 hour a day and you are training 5 days a week, that means you are spending $6,700 per week on your trainer. Per month, you're looking at $26,800. You got kids? Well, if you're a billionaire, someone's gonna have to look after them while you're off billionairing around. And when you're looking at the top-end nanny's cost for hire, you're looking at thousands and thousands of dollars per month. Case in point, just a few years ago, a posting went up on a childcare website where a family was looking for a full-time nanny for their 4 kids. The qualifications? They wanted someone who could work 6 days a week, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., could travel internationally up to 3 times a week, be trained in martial arts, had a degree in child psychology, and had 15 years nannying experience. They were offering $129,000 salary and full use of the family Porsche, Range Rover, and Maserati. What does that cost to look like monthly? $10,750 per month. We've got one last expense for you guys, and it's personal security. As you can imagine, when you're in the public eye as much as some of these billionaires, you're gonna need some extra protection. Mark Zuckerberg, worth $128 billion at the time of writing this, had Facebook pay for extra security in 2017, and it came to $7.3 million. So what does that look like per month? $608,333. Hey, the Zuck is still safe and sound. Looks like the money was well spent. Okay, all this talk of billionaires spending per month has us wondering, do any billionaires not live like a billionaire? Believe it or not, the answer is yes. David Sheraton, a Stanford professor who made his riches by investing in Google, is worth $1.3 billion. And he has stated he's actually offended by how the richest live. His most recent splurge, a 2012 Honda Odyssey. Maybe these 1%ers could take some notes on frugal living from this guy. Life's not just about how many things you have. We'll see you next time, right here on The Richest.